Domestic violence is not a disagreement. It's not a marital spat or an anger management problem. It's not a private matter, and it doesn't just happen to somebody else. It crosses all ages, races, religions, socioeconomic and educational divides. Domestic violence is about power and control. And it's a pattern of behaviors, violence, or even the threat of violence. And it is a choice made by the abuser. Chances are you already know someone who is a victim of domestic violence, as well as someone who may be an abuser. Both are not always what you'd expect. Stigmas and stereotypes still exist about who is a victim and who is an abuser. The work to end domestic violence starts with all of us, in our communities, in our schools, in our workplaces, and in our churches. It starts with me.
My company recognizes that domestic violence does not end when the workday begins. Domestic violence and its effects can and do spill into the workplace. We have a strong domestic violence policy and procedures for providing resources and referral information for the victims, and for holding perpetrators accountable. We train our executives, human resource personnel, supervisors, and staff on how to recognize the signs of domestic violence. It starts with me.
As a healthcare provider, I have the opportunity to talk confidentially with my patients. I always give my patients a chance to talk about issues that are going on in their homes, including violence. In my practice, we have a set of screening questions to start the conversation if a patient wants to talk about domestic violence. We have resources available should they need them, such as brochures with information about the Community Certified Domestic Violence Center and the Florida Domestic Violence Hotline. It starts with me.
I know my responsibilities and rights in a healthy relationship. I respect my girlfriend and communicate openly about what's okay and what's not. It is never okay to use violence, threats, or intimidation in a healthy relationship. It starts with me.
As a faith leader in my community, I teach love, equality, respect, and healthy communication skills. It's important that the people in my congregation honor their beliefs in their words, actions, deeds, and in their relationships. As a faith community, we must hold perpetrators accountable for their actions and ensure victims of domestic violence know the resources that are available to them. It starts with me.
I'm trained to recognize signs of domestic violence. I know that by the time law enforcement is called, the victim has probably experienced violence at the hands of the perpetrator multiple times. Even when I arrive, I understand a victim may not feel safe because of threats made by her abuser. I connect victims with resources that they feel are appropriate for them, such as the Florida Domestic Violence Hotline number, so they can talk to a trained advocate. I make sure to collect multiple forms of evidence during my investigation in order to increase perpetrator accountability. It is never the victim's fault. It starts with me.
I know my students and what's going on in their lives. That being in relationships is a large part of being a teenager. My students know that they can come talk to me if they have questions about dating or if they're experiencing something that they feel is unsafe. Our school has a strong dating violence policy, and we incorporate information on healthy relationships and resources in our classes. It starts with me.
When we answer a hotline call,
We first ask if they're safe to talk.
as trained advocates, we provide support, advocacy, information, and referrals for survivors of domestic violence,
Their children, families, and friends, focusing first on safety.
It starts with me.